Hello guys, welcome back to Go Discs, and we are here at the third and final Winter of the Willows Daily Mail promo DVD from 2008. And this is a, what do you call it? It's like 6 classic adventures from the first series, really. Or I'll insert the proper title down below, of course. So this is the last one I'm talking about. Obviously, we've talked about, spring and summer and autumn and winter. And now we're going back to the very first series with 6 episodes that obviously are sort of like, are sort of basically, classics in their own right. And some are, a couple aren't really, but we'll get to them eventually. So yeah, quite an interesting one actually, because I was quite surprised actually that this was, included. They could probably maybe done some other ones, of course, but I might get to some interesting ideas later on, but who knows. So we got 6 episodes from the very first series from 1984. And yeah, let's go through these. So first we've got is Further Adventures of Toad, the very first episode, originally released on the Further Adventures of Toad in 1989, which has 2 editions it has. There's one that has the Storm on, basically the video has Further Adventures of Toad, the Storm, and Fire at Toad Hole. Fire at Toad Hole from Series 3, then the Storm from Series 2. Whereas another version has Patient Toad from Series 2 replacing the Storm, but Fire at Toad Hole still remains on it as well, so interesting. So it appeared on there from 1989. To be fair, it's more of an introduction story in a way, because it recaps the original 83 film. Of course, Toad talked about his misadventures, about how he battled the Weasel at Toad Hole, and how he escaped jail and that sort of thing. Or somewhat lying to his friends, which actually the footage basically unfolds as he's saying like, oh, it's this happened, of course, but actually in the events, in the sequences you see, it's actually not entirely the case. Involving a barge woman, like he disguises as a washerwoman, meets a barge woman, and basically ends up taking a horse at the end, like just basically stealing it and actually selling it to a traveller for money, also stew as well. And it's straight. It's in. I mean, it's from the original book. It is, like Further Adventures of Toad, from the chapter that was omitted, like in various films, along with Wayfarer's All and The Piper Against the Dawn. It's all right, really. I think because it's more, again. Do you consider the HP film a pilot? This is more of a pilot, really, in a way, like its first steps, of course. Obviously, it's it's using the original footage from the HP film, intercutting with some bits and pieces, which I think the new stuff, of course, is better. Of course, with the whole dinner table scene, of course, which looks nice and nicely lit and everything else. To the barge woman, of course, scene, and the gypsy as well. So those bits are more the standouts, really, than the recap, because you've probably seen the film already. It's like you might have seen the film quite a few times, of course, and actually seeing it's like, oh, here we go again, of course. But it does reappear. A little snippet of it, actually. I think when Toad escapes jail, of course, as a washerwoman, it reappears in A Tale of Two Toads, like it recaps. When Toad tries to fall his way out of this thing, but it isn't barred in the Weasels, of course, if you've seen A Tale of Two Toads. But I think for Further Adventures of Toad, it's half and half, really. He has some good stuff, of course, but it's like, you're relying on the 83 film for some backstory, of course. So it's basically introduction to the series, everything else. It's like there. It's sort of middling, I would say. Sort of, I don't know, sort of. I won't rate it as one of the as a good story. I mean, as a series opener. Obviously, being introduced to the series, of course, the very first series, it's like it's doable. But I think, like, if you think of like best episodes, this probably won't be one of them, unfortunately. Next up, we've got is the Kidnapping of Toad, episode 2. I think this is one of the weakest stories of the series. I think it is down to its story. I think to its story, really. Of course, like there's some, it's a bit strange, really. Obviously, in the second episode, it's written by Brian Truman. This is, so it's his first script for this one. The Weasels want to, invite Toad to do like speaking at their hideout in their den in the Wildwood, and obviously Toad, just agrees to everything. Obviously just to get a good performance out of him or something. And then he just gets held for ransom. Really, it's an interesting idea, but it's not sort of gone as well as expected, really. If obviously, I think the only sort of good thing about it is like they sort of trick him in terms of like, like he's blindfolded, but he's actually on a log or something. I think he's got to fall over a cliff or something. Just that's something. I think that's the only sort of good thing about it, really. I don't know. It's not an episode I really sort of enjoyed very much. I'd probably rank it very at the sort of bottom. If you had to think of like some very weaker stories, this is probably one of them. Really, I just don't know. It's not really that interestingly done. It did appear. It actually did appear on, was it the Patient Toad VHS? Obviously, Patient Toad got reissued in, I think in '89 again actually, but like under the Lollipop banner. If you're familiar with that, it's just like a subsidiary with Thames Video Collection, really. So obviously it had Patient Toad, of course, Kidnapping of Toad, second one, and Badger's Remedy from series 3 on there. So it's a very interesting mix again of mixture of seasons on that one for the first 3. But it's one of the weaker ones, really. If you just probably rewatch this, it's like one of the weaker ones, really. Unfortunately, nothing else to say about that. Next one we've got is the Ghost of Mullend. Probably one of the better ones, really. It's a good one. It is, like involving Moell being spooked and actually realizing. Well, the main sort of thing is like he thinks his burrow's been haunted, of course, and in actual reality, it's actually like a field mice been stuck falling through a hole up his ceiling. Interestingly, and yeah, it's just a good one. I think coming from the first 2, of course, has been one was middling, one was weak. This one's probably is better, and it's like it all fits nicely. It does. It's a good one. It is. I think people tend to enjoy Ghost of Mullend, of course, and also he has the song Ghouls and Ghosts in as well. So it's again deserves a plus, absolutely. Now, after this, you had the Great Steamer, which I've already covered in spring and summer. And so we're going to Buried Treasure now, episode 5. I don't mind this one, actually. Some people think it's one of the weaker ones. I don't really mind it. I think only because Toad's not in this. It's a Badger-centric episode, of course, so it's very nice to see Badger get his own story. I think in Series 1, they do centre on certain characters, really, of course. Like, that's what I think. I think it's the only time, it might be the only time that Badger's ever taken the spotlight in the story. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any other episodes that he sort of takes a main part, rather than being strong supporting characters, really. Really, but I think this is the only time that he's ever been centric, of course. The hot thing about it, really. Obviously, it's through eviction. The Weasels want to take his home, really, and also we return to the magistrate. The magistrate in the courthouse returns. Most of again carries on from the original 83 film, just doing it a different way. So it's nice to see that. Yeah, and obviously we get the revelation that the Romans had actually let the Badgers, basically just stay forever in the wood, So this tree trunk, very much like Badger's home, stays forever, of course, because he found the original scrolls that are engraved in Latin, and obviously he's pleased, of course. What will happen? I don't know what will happen if that ever, would he move in Toad Hall or something, or would he find a different way, or get out the riverbank forever? Who knows? We never know. If that never happened, what would definitely happen with that? It begs a question, really. But it's an alright story. It is. I don't. People consider it's one of the weaker ones. I think it's alright, really. It's something different. Oh, plus it's again Badger's more. It's a Badger-centric episode, so it's something probably worth seeing. I don't know, for your own taste, really. It depends what you like, really. The next one we got is Moell's cousin. So we get introduced to Moell, which is a really good, again, brilliant character. Only appeared in 3 stories, even though I think he was touted to be all included in the other ones. Because what Richard Haynes has done actually, he's put the scripts on Sideways when he did the commentaries, of course, and also you see bits and pieces like stuff to do with Moell reappearing or something, in certain episodes. Obviously, it never did. Maybe because that's to the actor's availability, or just depends on the puppets, really. I think it's more to do with, maybe using the puppet. I think, who knows? But obviously, we get some of Moell's a member of Moell's family come on board, of course. And it's a nice one. It is, Obviously, we have the episode. Got to have a little bit of style. again, obviously, Rat, Badger, and Toad basically sing along, just saying, you need to prep yourself up and be smart, dapper, rather than be your humble self in a vest or a waistcoat. You need to be a bit more flamboyant, a bit more then less casual, really. And obviously, he decides against that, and of course, he meets his cousin, and they basically get on well, of course. And it's just the interaction between them two is actually lovely done. Again, Moell-centric episode, very nice. It's very nicely done. So it's definitely worth seeing. Absolutely. So then of course we had the Grand Annual Show. That was next. I've already covered that. So that's in spring and summer, and then finally we end up with the Open Road again. I really like this episode. It's probably, I think our series 1 as well. It's one of my favourites. It is. I really do enjoy this because it's about restoring the caravan, the traveller's caravan, of course, from the film. Returns. We get Alfred come in. Of course, done by the voice of what's his name? Oh God. Again, it's like research. I try to think, but he's reappeared most of the time. I literally forgot. I went blank on his name. No, it's not. Someone correct down below, of course, when they watch this. But again, it's lovely done. Obviously they want to go back to Moell, and Toad, to some extent, want to actually go travelling, go camping, and everything else. Obviously they go for a decent hike, which is actually in the open. It's actually a pretty good scene, really. Oh, we've only walked for a few miles, and obviously Toad's tired and knackered out instantly. And yeah, it's just pretty good. And at the end, of course, Toad has his craze with his Dursley bicycle, which is lovely, and also gets caught on a tree branch afterwards. Stupid bicycle, that sort of thing. It's like typical end, and really good actually. At the heart of it, though, you got the youngsters as well, and also the tragedy that they've lost their homes really due to the harvester. Really, so they end up taking the caravan, as a home, which is nicely done, indeed. And also, I did actually include it on a compilation that you can find on archive.org. That was included. So that episode's on there somewhere, largely because it was never released on home video. I forgot to mention that Moell's Cousin was released on home video, like twice actually. That also included Oberon's Return and Happy New Year, Series 2, Series 4. And reissue, I think it was reissued as a gift. What do you call it? Like a birthday gift set or something, like a card, and also you get a free taping as well from like 1991. I know it was released earlier on the Lollipop sub-label. And of course, this never got released on home video, strangely, which sort of begs the question, why never did? We just don't even know. Would love to see that, like they should have done, to release all of them, obtain them on each video, but sadly never did. Which brings me to the point, of course. Obviously, it's interesting that we've got, stuff from Series 1, of course, but there might have been some interesting other ideas that should have, been used, really. I was thinking of do like, well, instead of this one, even though it's good, you probably think, you could probably just do something different, really. Obviously, you got Spring Follies, Autumn Antiques, Some Escapades, and Winter Tales, of course. That's all like the famous ones. But I think something like, reissuing, I think like stuff like Series 5, really. Like you just do the bumper special from 1990, put that on, and maybe put an extra episode of Series 5 that's never been on, like Chief's Return or Hip Hip Soiree, really. And it'll probably be good, actually. Put 6 episodes of Series 5 on there. That'll be a little decent reissue, even though you get free newspaper and it's only on a cardboard sleeve. It's probably worth it. Or I've always liked the idea of doing, like reissuing Lord Toad and Labyrinth, actually. Put them all together, and probably just do it like in order, I think. Like you put Labyrinth first, then Lord Toad afterwards, and that would be a really good one. Or the other idea was to put like episodes that never been included on, again, like you had stuff like Buried Treasure, which was again never been released on home video, same with Open Road again, shockingly. Maybe pull them on and pull the rest on like Piper Gets a Dawn, Burger at Toad Hall, and what was the other one? Weasel's Trap, yeah. That'd be one of those things, and also maybe an extra episode for, you know, that could have worked. Might work, really, but who knows, really. Yeah, I just basically thought it was you know, before bring some ideas. If you have any ideas, really, if you want to replace this one with 6 episodes or whatever on a promo disc for Winnie the Willows, really, what episodes would you think you'll put on? Either your personal favourites or some episodes you think might be worthy putting on as a reissue, really. So them 2 ones that I pointed out, well, them 3 videos I pointed out back in the 90s will be interesting, you know, interesting reissues, you know. Obviously, I'm surprised they didn't do any more of these actually, but I think because you want to buy the complete collection, you know, it's just like these 3 will probably do. You know, I've seen many more, like in ranges like that, but obviously Winnie the Willows, maybe just like 3 will do, who knows. Could be the idea. But there we go. So that's the last of the pre-promo DVDs, of course, by the Winnie the Willows, and from 2008, got, you know, promoting the complete collection, the first edition. And yes, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to talk about these episodes, to know which ones are better, which ones are sort of not the best really. But there we go. Thank you guys for watching. As always, see you for the next video, and goodbye.